What's going on, everyone? It's only been like a week, or really 2 weeks, since we talked about Qui-Gon and actually played a deck, but we've got a bunch of amazing additions even since then, and we're changing it up and playing some Command alongside that. So we got some Qui-Gon green. I'm literally just noticing this now. Hey, it's totally fine. We gotta play some games, okay? Before we do, big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's talk about Qui-Gon Jinn, guys. This guy is absolutely amazing. We've already played around with the fours, bouncing some things, playing some things for cheaper. We did it with double yellow, where we get things like Cantina Bouncer, Ahsoka, Bodhi. We have a few of those, like Ahsoka. We have a few of the ambushers that cycle into other ambushers. For example, we can go Qui-Gon, ambush something, use the force, get Depa Billaba, deploy Qui-Gon, bounce Depa Billaba, and go with Plo Koon. We can do that type of thing. But with Command, we're looking to really just get a little bit more value from our units and, well, hopefully use, now there are two of them, for some explosive plays. So what do we get with Command? Well, first off, you get some early units, Luke Skywalker and Gunji, both force units, which are really nice because basically every unit in our deck is a force unit. Kelleran Beq, Depa Billaba, Plo Koon, Eth Koth, Qui-Gon Jinn. So you can actually use, now there are two of them, of all of these turn one plays, 12 of them, which are all plays that we generally kind of want in our deck for the most part, to get to our big plays. We could play Plo Koon on turn 2 or Depa Billaba on turn 3, things like that. On top of that, we get Obi-Wan Kenobi. This has been an amazing addition. Just playing this guy becomes a 3/5 Sentinel, really a big brick wall to start just annoying your opponent. We have Blue Leader, nice little ambusher. We get Eth Koth and Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron's really nice because we could play him, bounce him, play a 3-drop, but we get the X-Wing token. Eth Koth, nice force unit, can help us ramp. And of course, probably the strongest card if we get to the mid-game, Kelleran Beq. And this guy's absolutely sweet. Play him, mini Vader, but realistically, you'll grab your Obi-Wan or Venestra or Blue Leader or whatever it is, and you'll drop it on the board and you'll just go to town, absolutely building out a huge board. Not only do we have all of those command cards that I spoke about, but as I said, Gunji and Venestra, both these cards are new to Qui-Gon Jinn in general, and Venestra's an amazing addition. Just being able to use the Force, get some value out of using the Force outside of just Qui-Gon Jinn's ability is a really, really good addition. Of course, we've got Sneak Attack to pump things out early, to potentially bounce them to get some value. We're going to try to do some work with Qui-Gon Jinn, guys, and let's go ahead and dive into some games. Into our first game, gets to get double Blu-ray deck. We're going to mulligan this one. We have a lot of options. I think we can do a little bit better, and I actually do like this one a good amount better. Resource the Anakin, probably resource this Luke. We have Gunji into Venestra, into Blue Leader. I think that's a pretty nice sort of start. Gunji is going to be able to get that Force token generating for us. 2/5 is going to be very difficult to go ahead and finish off on turn 1, so don't really expect that to happen. Moisture Farmer, huh? That's not one you often see. Ooh, now there are two of them, is a pretty powerful option as well. Qui-Gon Jinn's Ether Sprite, not something that we can necessarily play, but now there are two of them, can end up being pretty powerful for us. The question is, what do I want to do here? I think I just attack the Moisture Farmer here, and we'll see what my opponent decides to do. The 2 damage to base literally doesn't mean anything, because my opponent will just go ahead and, well, attack our base and restore it back. We can go ahead and use the Force to start our Venestra's attacks, which is going to be pretty nice. We'll see what they decide to do. Okay, they're going to attack Gunji. Sure. Honestly, what I want them to do is kill off one of my units, because if they do, we can play Depa Billaba off of, now there are two of them. So I really want them to finish off one of my units. It may be that they finish off multiple of our units, actually, which would be a little bit scary. They got forces with me, which actually kind of works out. As I said, I'm kind of hoping that they finish off a unit. And they did. Which means we can go, now there are two of them, drop in a Depa Billaba, smack the Ezra Bridger, and then we can attack Gunji, bounce the Depa Billaba, play out the Ether Sprite, and then pass. And that was a pretty sweet turn, because now what we're going to be able to do is potentially go ahead and get that when played, which is going to generate multiple X-Wing tokens. We'll play this as a unit. No. And that should have been able to generate multiple X-Wings because we used a when play, which means we should have gotten an X-Wing, I believe. That's okay. We'll pass. Ooh. This is what we live for, my friends. Sneak attack Caloran into Depa Billaba. It is going to be absolutely gross. And we could double up the when played. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's nasty. It's nasty. Let's grab something. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sure, we'll drop him in. And what is going on? We need to be able to get the when played double up on triggers. What's going on? We should have gotten the double Caloran Beck trigger. Whatever. We'll ignore it. Okay? We'll ignore it. We'll let it be for now. It's tragic, absolutely tragic, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll leave it be. We'll leave it be. We used Qui-Gon Jinn's ability. We can go ahead and bounce our Caloran Beck to play Depa Billaba to knock out Rey. Depa Billaba, ambush, deploy Qui-Gon, attack. No need to bounce anything, attack, pass. Now we have Depa Billaba, blue leader, Caloran Beck. I mean, the game is basically over. I mean, what are they going to do, right? We can bounce Caloran Beck after we play it and play another Depa Billaba. This is a nightmare scenario. And we missed out on multiple usages of our out of our double when played ability. So GG to my opponent. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to attack with there. We could have attacked into Luke, played Caloran Beck, got our trigger, should have gotten double trigger again off Caloran Beck, and then bounced it with Qui-Gon, played Depa Billaba, knock out Luke, again, totally a free, and then that means that we would have gotten for 12 damage and then built an even bigger board. That's disgusting. All right, into the next game. We've got ourselves a match up against Avar Kriss, which is going to be really, really cool to see. I'm not going to mulligan this one. I do like this hand quite a bit. The question I have, however, is do I want to keep the Eeth Koth or the Plo Koon? I think we're going to go for the max value, which is Anakin into, Plo Koon. It's just so good. And then we can even bounce Plo Koon potentially to get some work done on that note. After now there are two of them. What do we want to do here? Probably to play the Luke afterwards. We'll see what my opponent decides to do. I think I'll just hit Gunji here because I can knock it out with, now there are two of them, Plo Koon, ambush, and then we can bounce this to play Luke, which isn't too bad. Pass. Double sneak attack isn't great. It's not great, but we can sneak attack out Plo Koon and then bounce it for another Anakin, but Anakin would die, which isn't great. So I guess we'll see what actually happens here. Let's go ahead and Anakin in. Let's go ahead and Luke attack. Let's go ahead and sneak attack Plo Koon, ambush. They can use the Force to ramp a little bit, but that's fine. We can bounce Plo Koon, play out Anakin, destroy the old Anakin. Not great, by the way. These are not fantastic plays by any means. It's just kind of what we're forced to be doing right now because we didn't draw. We drew way too many of the sneak attacks, and now there are two of them, and not enough of the expensive units that go along with them. That's the tricky part. Let's get in for 3. Let's get in for another 2. We'll see what my opponent has for 6 resources. Hopefully it's not too scary. They've got the takedown. That's totally fine. I think what we'll do is go Plo Koon, and then we'll just see what they've got. Avar Kriss still not able to come down. I think this is one of the issues that I'm expecting to see with Avar Kriss is just the inability to really do a whole lot with the leader early on. Of course, it's great late game, real big unit, which is nice. But it's always worrisome to not be able to have a leader until way late into the game. Let's go with Poe Dameron here. We'll play him as a unit. not attach them to the X-Wing. They can take out the X-Wing if they want. I'd rather have Poe Dameron as a unit. What do they just do? Okay, they're generating the Force. Totally fine. They can go ahead and basically prevent the Chirrut from dying, which is fine. And then we can go ahead and play Qui-Gon. Attack in. They can't use the Force. We can bounce the Poe Dameron. Play out the Venestra. Use the Force for an immediately readied up Vernestra. And then get in with Luke. And get in with... oh, Spark of Hope. That changes the game. They're going to be able to deploy out their Avar Kriss at this point. Which means, do I want to attack into Avar Kriss? I think I do. And then we'll see what they decide to do with the attack following up. Okay, they're going to go out and attack. We're going to go to claim initiative. Really, really sweet situation there for them. Let's go ahead and attack in. We will just trade off. Our leader's a little bit weaker than theirs. We're going to hope that we draw something good. We have a ton of expensive cards in our deck, and we haven't really drawn that side of things. So I'm going to hope that we do at some point. But we could never. It's possible. Luke Skywalker, that's a great choice. Let's go ahead and play this as a, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. As a pilot is what I wanted to play him as. Pass, Kelleran Beck, amazing. No need to resource anything here. Kelleran Beck is definitely the card I wanted to see more than anything. Anakin Skywalker, that's pretty sweet as well. What are they going to do? Knock out. Going to generate Force. Sure, we're going to get in for 3. And then we're going to get in for 4. Play a Kelleran Beck. We can grab... Ooh, Millennium Falcon looks pretty good here, actually. Fell the Dragon, huh? That's a pretty devastating card there. We can bounce the Millennium Falcon to play the Luke, I suppose. Pass. Great answer, by the way, from our opponent to go ahead and delete that unit. Let's see what they have here. U-Wing Reinforcement. That's a little bit scary. Hopefully this Ahsoka's going to be able to grab something and make it difficult for my opponent to end the game this turn, because that's all we kind of have to avoid. Okay, Gunji. We get to go Ahsoka. Discard a unit, please. Nice. That's going to end the game because they're going to go to 18. They can knock out one of these units. We're going to have 7 damage, and that's going to be perfectly lethal with the Millennium Falcon, and that's GG. So we barely got there. The battle was significant, but we're going to be able to attack in for 3, attack in for 4, play the Millennium Falcon, and finish off the game. So real sweet stuff. That was pretty cool. Millennium Falcon, attack in, and that's GG. So GG, despite us having a really awkward hand where we had like multiple Anakins, multiple Plo Koons, multiple sneak attacks. I mean, how many sneak attacks did we draw? We drew all 3 sneak attacks. 2 now, there are 2 of them, and we didn't have the big plays. We didn't draw the Depa Billaba, the Qui-Gon, the Kelleran Beck, all those cards that we really, really wanted with that type of draw didn't show up. And so it kind of made it a little bit awkward there, but we still got there nonetheless. Into our next game, and we got a pretty good hand. Anakin, and now there are 2 of them into Plo Koon. We'll see what my opponent's playing over there with Moff Gideon. They may have a unit that is going to be able to knock out my Anakin because of Moff Gideon's ability. That is the only concern here. And if that's the case, it's the case. But we could also follow that up with Blue Leader. Unfortunately, in our deck, we have Youngling Padawan, we have Anakin. These units just die. And so that is something to consider. Now, here they played Snowtrooper Lieutenant, which is a horrible turn 1 play. So we're actually just going to trade off if they end up using Moff Gideon's ability, which is totally fine with me, especially with what I just drew. Now we can go Vernestra into Depa Billaba if they just trade off here. If they don't, we can go now there are two of them into Plo Koon on this turn. We have so many options. Blue leader is going to be resourced here. I don't really care what they do, honestly. If they use this action, totally fine. We're going to play Vernestra and we're going to go to town. Totally fine. Now we're going to go bet Depa Billaba next turn. And again, they use their action, which means we're not going to have initiative, and they're going to be pretty sad unless they're able to deal with this Vernestra here on this turn. They are not, which means we got a lot of options here. In fact, we can go now. There are two of them, Depa Billaba into Plo Koon, but we're just going to attack in first because we may want to just go Ahsoka Tano on this turn instead of the now there are two of them, since my opponent only has the Super Laser Technician to smack in with. Never mind, Depa Billaba comes down, smack in, kill the General Veers. And then they can attack with Super Laser Technician. But that's not going to do a whole lot. It's not going to kill a unit. And if they do, we are just going to pass. I highly suggest not hitting the Depa Billaba for my opponent, just because if they do, we are planning on bouncing it anyways. So now we're going to pass here. If they deploy Moff Gideon, I will just go ahead and bounce the Depa Billaba to just actually play Ahsoka, not even play the Plo Koon. And if we discard a unit here, then we're going to be able to exhaust the Moff Gideon. If we discard an event here, then we just discard a card from their hand, which is nice. That's why I was thinking they should attack the Vernestra, because when you have a 6-drop against Qui-Gon, there's just so many things I could play off of that 6-drop that it's really gross, to the point where they're not going to be able to knock out both my units. So we can set up a really nice play next turn of deploying Plo Koon and just knocking out the Moff Gideon. Oh my gosh, sneak attack was a fantastic draw, because now we can sneak attack Depa Billaba into Plo Koon on this turn. Guys, it just keeps getting better and better in this game. It is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's one of the reasons why Depa Billaba was just a full 3 of for me in Qui-Gon. The ability just to ambush and then chain into so many different cards is so critical. Hopefully they play something that can get killed off by Depa Billaba. That would be the dream here. Otherwise, we could always just play out Plo Koon, but it feels like a waste to do that. No? It feels like a waste. Why can't we just keep comboing off, you know? It's so good. It is so good. All right, opponent. Let's see what you've got. Probably not much. It's going to be tough to come back, but, they're playing Vigilance Command, Villainy Command. They could just have a Vader on 7 resources, and it's going to be difficult to fight through that, right? That is just kind of how the name of the game works. Okay, in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and Plo Koon their Moff Gideon. Them just playing a resupply carrier kind of just makes the whole Depa Billaba less exciting, as it should, I suppose. Sneak attack, still nice. I'm going to get rid of the Luke Skywalker. I'd rather have the Qui-Gon Jinn's Ether Sprite. Depa Billaba can just come down on this turn. It can be bounced. There's the Vader, as we had stated earlier. Vader's always good. Vader's always expected. Still a good play. Probably not good enough, though. We'll see. They got the Piet. They'll probably knock out Plo Koon, is my guess. Yep, there goes Plo Koon. What do we want to do here? Let's go ahead and attack in for 3. We will Depa Billaba, create an ambush, knock out Darth Vader. And then we'll attack in for 3. Deploy Qui-Gon, attack in for 4. We're going to bounce Depa Billaba to play the Qui-Gon Jinn's Ether Sprite. And this is just to allow us to have the Depa Billaba to continue to recycle. When she's going to trade off anyways, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to just leave her on the board when we can deploy the Qui-Gon Jinn's Ether Sprite anyways. Not like we're going to double up on many triggers here, because we have a lot of ambush going on right now. But if we do happen to grab a Kelleran Beck this turn, it would have been nasty, right? Sneak attack Kelleran Beck, bounce with Qui-Gon, get a Depa Billaba trigger, and then we're in town. And they have double Vader here, right? This is a great hand for our opponent outside of, the turn 1, which, to be honest, turn 1 can kind of decide the game. So makes sense. But Let's see what they've got with Vader. Super Laser Technician. You got it. You got it, opponent. We're going to go ahead and just drop in a Depa Billaba. Knock out Vader. We're going to get in for 3 here. I mean, technically we have lethal on board, so they got to have something else besides what they've got. Their Moff Gideon doesn't work on the resupply carrier. Ooh, I should have gotten in with that first. But we're not going to resolve the ambush attack. We're just going to sneak attack the Depa Billaba and then finish off the game that way. Not as exciting, but we got there, guys. Getting some damage. Sure, game's over. There's nothing that they can do. We're going to attack in for 5. Then we're going to finish them off with another attack in with the Qui-Gon. Really not close at all. Really, that turn 1 play just made it very difficult for my opponent to do anything, even though they had double Vader. Even though they had double Vader, which is one of the things that I mentioned that could climb them back into the game. Just ambush after ambush after ambush was too much to keep up with. Into the next game, we got ourselves a pretty good hand here. I like the Gunji. It's very unlikely to die. Looks like they've got Lothwolf, which isn't bad. We're going to pass. We're going to claim initiative. Ooh. What do I want to do here? I think it's just sneak attack in the Eth Koth. Yeah, I think it's just sneak attack in the Eth Koth. Let's go Gunji attack. Get rid of that shield token. They can Tarkin Town away, which is totally fine. We're going to go sneak attack Eth Koth, and then we're going to blast through that Lothwolf. Attack, blast the Lothwolf. We don't have a way to bounce the Eth Koth, which is totally fine because we are going to use the Force, and then that's going to give us another resource, right? Okay, there's the 5 resources. I was a little bit worried there for a second. But yeah, we're going to have the Gunji here, which isn't a great one, by the way, because, I mean, well, we can't even now. There are 2 of them out something. Oh, blue leader, huh? No. We go, now there are 2 of them, Depa Billaba. And then we can kill the Wampa, which then allows us to bounce Depa Billaba to play the blue leader to then ambush again, which is great. Just great. Let's go ahead and attack in with the Gunji. And then we can bounce Depa Billaba, play out the blue leader, pay the 2 resources, ambush, kill Kanan. And I mean, that's a pretty spectacular turn. I'm not going to lie, guys. Not going to lie. That was pretty spectacular. We can deploy Qui-Gon. We could bounce the blue leader, but I don't think we need to because we have the Saboteur here with Depa Billaba, which could cut through the shields on like a Kanan here. So if they were to go Kanan here, yeah, that's fine. They can do that too. Let's just go ahead and knock out the Hera, actually. This is a little bit odd, but I think this is important because they're going to be able to shield it up, and then Kanan's going to become potentially a threat. And now, if they deploy Kanan, we play Depa, and then this is just a 3/6, which means it dies between Depa and Gunji, because Depa will go ahead and actually drop in the shield token, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and get in for 2. They're probably going to deploy. Sure. Let's go ahead and play Depa Billaba. And then we'll claim initiative. They can do a lot of different things here. They can knock out Qui-Gon. I don't think Qui-Gon really matters here. Okay, Anakin, not exactly all that relevant. Let's go ahead and hit Kanan, defeat that shield token. And we can do a lot of different things here. The Ghost is an amazing card. Makes everything Sentinel is going to be really tricky to fight through, to be honest. Takedown's pretty good, but so is Plo Koon. So we're just going to go Plo Koon here. And I mean, that's pretty nice for us. They got Ezra Bridger. Of course, they have Ezra Bridger. It's going to play the Youngling Padawan. I mean, this is one of the things with Kanan is that even though we had a pretty fantastic start, we are still kind of getting defeated by just being a Sentinel in space, right? Just making everything Sentinel is tricky to deal with. Qui-Gon Jinn was an amazing draw, by the way. Really, really going to potentially change the nature of the game. Let's go ahead and actually just attack in with Plo Koon here. And they can attack. Hopefully they play something that's going to be defeated by our Qui-Gon, or something that Qui-Gon's going to get defeated by. Let's go ahead and knock out Kanan. We're running out of opportunities. Okay. We don't really have many options here. We have to play Ahsoka to potentially exhaust the Ghost. Ooh, Waylay's great. Waylay's pretty good. Wow, this is getting a little bit tricky, huh? Running out of options here. So if we waylay, it's going to be a 5-powered unit. I think they've got this. I don't see it out here. GG to my opponent. Really, really interesting game. It's literally just this Ghost. The Ghost caused all this to happen. We were on a really nice streak here, but the Ghost just putting up that massive Sentinel body, having it be shielded. That's what changed the nature of the game. We didn't draw Qui-Gon Jinn fast enough. If we had it for the Kanan and we just traded, we would have dropped that Ghost to the bottom of the library. Or if we had a Waylay earlier, something like that, Kelleran back would have been something. We didn't get any of that, so we ended up pulling out. They ended up pulling out the win. Really, really close though. It was just that the Ghost. Literally, it's one of the cards that I think is super, super pushing the Spectres. Just almost there, which is kind of cool. All right, into the next game. We got ourselves a pretty okay hand, not amazing, but we're up against Cassia Blue. So come on, what can we really be afraid of? And that's how I eat my words, okay? But we got a nice hand. Anakin into readied up Vernestra, into potentially sneak attack Qui-Gon at some later date. We may actually just sneak attack out the Ahsoka on this turn and then put in the Vernestra, which seems pretty good to me. Okay. What do I want to do here? So Vernestra won't be immediately readied if we sneak attack out the Ahsoka. So I think I'll just go ahead and play out Vernestra as a baseline. Okay, let's pass. Another Vernestra, another Ahsoka. I think I'll resource one. I'll think I'll resource the Vernestra. Okay, there is the Chirrut. Interesting. I think our only option really is to just attack into it. They don't have the Force. We're just going to blast through it. They're going to take out 2 units. It's totally fine. We're going to play Ahsoka. Really, double Ahsoka and another Vernestra is not what I wanted to see. Again, we really want bigger units here. Depa Billaba is something that I am pretty excited about. They're going to knock us down with this A-Wing slowly but surely. But we'll see. U-Wing Lander, huh? U-Wing Lander. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Let's go with an attack in with Ahsoka. Depa Billaba, no ground units here is pretty horrible for us to see. We don't have anything to play. Waylay is nice. Waylay's pretty nice. I do like Waylay. I think we just waylay their U-Wing Lander. And then we can sneak attack out Ahsoka. Not that that's a great play to be making, but we're going to do it anyways, I suppose. Let's go sneak attack Ahsoka. We'll destroy one. make them discard a card. Again, not a fantastic play. They got rid of the bays. Oh, they got Chirrut and bays. Sweet. Absolutely sweet. Let's attack for 3. Let's go ahead and claim initiative. No interaction here in the space arena has been really devastating, actually. And as I say that what our hand was looking like, we're up against Cassia Blue, and they just smack us to death with an A-Wing. Like, that's basically all they did this game. They just played a space unit. That is one of the big downsides of Qui-Gon, by the way, is that we just don't have as much interaction in space. Pretty sweet. They get to move the pile around, and that's GG. But we didn't really have anything to do to mess around with space units, right? Waylay is one of our few interaction types, and we just got it too late. And our early game was pretty bad because we had triple Ahsoka draw, which is not what we really wanted to see. If we had a little bit of a different split, because we drew the other Vernestra as well. If we drew a little bit of a split where we had the Plo Koon or something a little bit earlier, and then we could go into Ahsoka and knock out Chirrut, then we probably would have won, but we didn't get that. And we also didn't get that. Now there are 2 of them, which, you know, that can change the game as well, but pretty close if we had gotten one of those. Otherwise, we got destroyed. All right, into our next game. We got a Chirrut Red. Real exciting to play up against. I'm not sure about this hand. It could go 2 ways. It could be real good if we draw into something good. It can also be real bad. I think I'm going to mulligan it and hope for something just a little bit better. This is definitely a little bit better. I think I'm going to resource the Ahsoka and the Qui-Gon, and I'm going to go with Anakin into, now there are 2 of them, into Eth Koth or Plo Koon. We will pass. Depa Billaba. Wow. That's tricky. I think I resourced the Plo Koon, actually. And I think I might play the blue leader this turn. Okay, they're going to prevent the blue leader attack. That's fine. We're just going to go with Eth Koth here. Cassian Andor. Okay, they're pumping up the space unit. It's one of the things that I mentioned that we have very little interaction against. Cassian Andor. They hit the Qui-Gon Jinn Ether Sprite. Well, maybe we have some interaction up against, huh? Waylay. Love me some Waylay. Let's just go out and waylay away that A-Wing. Prevent some damage. Waylay is our interaction piece. We'll go ahead and Eth Koth them. Get that when defeated trigger to get some force generating. Okay, they're going to make us discard. That's fine. We're going to use the force. And that means that we have Depa Billaba next turn. We will pass. Got ourselves the Vernestra. I do like Vernestra, actually. But I think the Poe Dameron is going to be a little bit more utilized in this situation. Depa Billaba comes down. Smack out Baze Malbus. They can deploy Chirrut. It's not going to be that fantastic, though. Okay. Let's deploy Qui-Gon here. I'm not sure about the Tarkin Town. We kind of want to bounce the Depa Billaba, so the Tarkin Town was a little bit odd to me. Really nice draw on the Caloran back. It doesn't really get much better than this, and this was a pretty streamlined game. I mean, it doesn't get easier than this. We could play Depa Billaba right now, or we can go for the Caloran back plus Depa Billaba. I'm gonna go for the upside play, guys. Come on now. We can drop it in Obi-Wan, get the Sentinel going. And I mean, what can my opponent do? If they don't have an immediate upgrade for Chirrut, Chirrut just dies, and we get to play, well, I mean, technically he doesn't die because they've got the Chirrut. But I mean, what can my opponent do realistically? Yeah, you got to Chirrut down. Sure. Who cares? We got Caloran back. We prevented the attack. We're going to get in for some damage. We're going to play the Depa Billaba off the Caloran back, and that's going to hit the Chirrut as well. I mean, my opponent's got nothing. What can my opponent do? Ah, Karabast. I like it. I like it. Not that it changes anything, but it's cool. Sneak attack, ETH Koth. I mean, this was just the waylay was pretty good, but I don't even know if we necessarily needed the waylay in this game. It's a big cheer it. It's a big cheer it. Doesn't change anything. What are you going to smack? What are you going to finish off? What is your last attack here? Boom. GG for my opponent. Really tough to deal with, to be honest. The waylay was good. The ETH Koth early on, with now there are 2 of them, just allowed us to ramp and then trade off with their turn 4 play or turn 3 play with 4 resources. So our 3 resource play, trade off with their 4 resource play. Excellent situation there. Our 3 resource play, trade off with their turn 1 and turn 2 plays. So just a really nice hand for us up against what they were doing. So just good hand for us, to be honest. All right, into our final game. I'm going to keep this hand. It's a little bit risky, something to consider, but I am going to keep it. We have a nice curve. Anakin into Vernestra, into something. We have now there are 2 of them. I think the Plo Koon or the Podameron is going to go to the resource pile. I think the Plo Koon also goes to the resource pile because I'm not sure what my opponent's going to do, but I believe we're going to get the Vernestra down and we're going to have to trade off multiple units here. Ooh, sneak attack is really good. Yeah, we're just gonna go sneak attack. And even if we don't get more value than just sneak attacking in our unit, I'm okay with that. Let's go ahead and just smack into the Hera. Any unit that they deploy here, I'm gonna be pretty happy with. Yep, we're just gonna go sneak attack ETH Koth. And that's going to smack out Ezra. We're going to be able to ramp, which is going to be really nice. And then we can even bounce, but we don't have anything to bounce, so that's fine. We're just going to ramp here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's a good draw. That's a good draw. So here we resource the Depa Billaba. Even though I don't like it, what happens here if we resource the blue leader and then we give the option of Depa Billaba or Kelleran back is if they just attack the Anakin Skywalker, we have no play this turn. Otherwise, we just go blue leader, make it a 5/5, right? And if they keep Anakin Skywalker around, we can go Kelleran back. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, they just went ahead and trade. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and gain 2 experience. As I mentioned, totally fine outcome. We're going to be able to get down the Kelleran back eventually, but we're going to get a 5/5 down. Sabine's Masterpiece comes into play. Not bad. Ooh, Gunji, huh? Gunji and Millennium Falcon. I like the Millennium Falcon, of course. That's my preferred card here. So we're going to deploy Qui-Gon, and we're going to see what my opponent's got. We are a turn ahead of them right now in terms of resources. We've got Kelleran Beck coming down next turn, which is really, really nice. Hopefully we draw like a sneak attack. That would be awesome. But realistically, what I want is like a Depa Billaba or a Plo Koon. We did draw a couple of them already, so that's something to consider. But let's go and get Millennium Falcon down, and then we'll see what my opponent's got afterwards. Not going to be any bouncing with Qui-Gon. Not really going to be doing anything, to be honest. I mean, they could put shield tokens days upon days on their Sabine's Masterpiece. That's fine. Really, what I'd be worried about is a Ghost. Honestly, Ghost is kind of gross. Okay, Doom comes down. We're going to knock out Doom. Don't really want Doom sitting around on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and knock out Doom. Pass. Pass. That is a lot of Millennium Falcons. That is a little bit of a gross amount of Millennium Falcons, to be honest. Again, Ghost, Ghost, Ghost. That's what I'm worried about. Don't want to see a Ghost at all. Ghost putting up Sentinels everywhere is just obnoxious. It is just obnoxious. And everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. That's a Obi-Wan. That's pretty solid. We're going to grab a Vernestra here. Going to get that immediately readied up as well, which is pretty nice. Sabine's Masterpiece is going to heal some damage. We are going to bounce the Kelleran back, get the Millennium Falcon down. I mean, we're not in a good spot, to be honest. We're not in a good spot. My opponent's just got too many shield tokens. Things like the shield tokens and realistically just going to town with all these units. No waylays, no interaction in space. I've mentioned this a few times, but this deck does have a serious problem with interacting in space. Depa Billaba is a great card up against Kanan, but it might just be a little bit too late. really nice start, not a great finish. And it might just been that we could have been a little bit more aggressive, and that's what we should have done. But sometimes that's just not what happens. Okay, we've got an Obi-Wan Kenobi. That one's a pretty good one. Nice sentinel body. That can do some work for sure. Okay, they're going to go ahead and drop a Hera, which doesn't really change the name of the game. They could just take initiative here and win. Realistically, we're going to claim initiative, but we don't really have any options out of here. We don't have a sentinel in space. They've got the ghost anyways. It's not like we could have really done anything too crazy. If we got a Depa Billaba a little bit earlier, really interesting start to the game, but Kanan coming through really nice there. GG. The shield tokens become really obnoxious. This is where, you know, things like Bamboozle would be really, really important. And we weren't really running Bamboozle, but it's something to consider. If there's going to be a lot of Kanans, this is where Bamboozle is like gross, right? Can you imagine if we killed Obi-Wan and then we were able to Bamboozle off the shield token and the double experience tokens off of Kanan, or just Bamboozle the Sabine's Masterpiece, and we were able to just kill it with Millennium Falcon, and then Kanan comes down as a 3/6. That's the type of stuff that really, really changes the game. So pretty fun games. Good job for my opponent. Love the double blue Kanan. What did we learn with Qui-Gon? Well, we had some absolutely sweet games, and we had some games that were feeling pretty rough. First off, the actual structure of Qui-Gon, the sneak attacks, now there are 2 of them, perform very well. Sneak attack works well on the deck, getting out things like Eth Koth and then bouncing them for Vernestra, or Plo Koon and bouncing them for Eth Koth, and etc., etc. Amazing. Love sneak attack. I was trying out, now there are 2 of them. I do like that in certain circumstances, but it can be a little bit tricky in some games. It's only really amazing when your opponent's more ground focused. We had a problem with space. We have Millennium Falcons, we have blue leaders, but realistically, if your opponent deploys a bunch of shielded units or a bigger space unit, it can be a little bit tricky. I think one of the things is with this deck is we were so focused on our own game plan with less focus towards interacting with our opponent. I think what I would do if I were to change things up is probably drop the Qui-Gon Jinn's Aether Sprite, drop the now there are 2 of them, and put in things like Bamboozle, just in general, nice disruptive piece, maybe another copy of Waylay, and some more in general just disruption for my opponent's space arena. Whether that's Home 1, which Home 1 is actually pretty good because you can bounce it for Millennium Falcons and blue leaders, or if, not Home 1, sorry, Bright Hope, Sentinel Space Body, whether that's that or another space contender. I think there's a lot of options there, but we definitely needed some more space interaction. Usually it came down to our opponent just chipping us away in the space arena or having a big space unit that we couldn't overcome. When it came to ground arena, we had the Plo Koons, we had the Depa Billabas, we had the Qui-Gon Jinns, we had the Kylo Ren Becks. All of that was good stuff. All of it was able to maintain control of the ground arena for the most part. And then there was just the space arena that we had to contend with. So really cool deck. Obviously, this type of situation is definitely more testing what's people playing in the meta. Right now it's kind of all over the place. You got Kanans, you got Third Sisters, you've got the random Jabba the Hutts, you've got your standard decks like Sabine and Double Yellow Han coming in, you've got Anakins. I mean, it's just all over the place, right? That's what's great about it. You just don't even know what you're going to be fighting. You don't even know what people are playing and testing out. You don't even know what the good cards are, right? As of recording this video, Vernestra only just was released like 2 days ago. I don't know when I'm going to post the video. Sometimes I record them a couple days earlier, but that just goes to show you, like, testing out a lot of these cards, playing with them. That's the fun of it. I'm sure there's going to be a far better way to construct this deck, and I'm sure there's going to be a far better way to play the deck. But that's the beauty of it. We're here to play some games. We're here to test it out and have some fun. I really like the Qui-Gon Jinn combo aspect, but I think it's going to need a little bit more interaction, or maybe I should just change the focus into a little bit more aggressive nature, which might have been the way to go. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.